High Commander Lyra Leigh Moonwhisper stood on the bridge of her flagship and watched the blue planet grow larger on the main screen. Her pointed ears twitched with mild interest as she studied the third world from their target star. The planet looked ordinary enough with its white clouds and brown continents. She had conquered dozens of worlds just like this one over the past 3 centuries. "Another primitive species awaits integration into our glorious empire," she said to her bridge. "Crew." The Athrani officer beside her nodded respectfully. Their elvish features remained calm and confident as always. After all, they had never lost a single battle in their long history of expansion. Lyra Leigh's violet eyes scanned the tactical display, showing her fleet of 200 warships. Each vessel bristled with weapons that could glass entire continents. The energy shields protecting her ships could withstand the most powerful attacks these primitive humans might attempt. She almost felt sorry for the poor creatures below. "High Commander, we are detecting artificial signals from the planet," reported her sensor officer. "They appear to have basic radio technology and some orbital installations." "Typical," Lyra Leigh replied with a slight smile. "Begin standard scanning procedures, catalog their defensive capabilities so we can plan the integration ceremony." Far below on the planet Earth, Captain Lisa Martinez stood in the command center of the USS Liberty and stared at the massive alien fleet that had just appeared near their moon. The supercarrier stretched for miles in every direction around her. Its hull contained more advanced technology than the rest of humanity had ever dreamed possible. Lisa had commanded this ship for 5 years, but she still felt amazed by its capabilities every single day. "Captain, we are receiving a transmission from the alien fleet," announced Commander Amy Sullivan from her tactical station. "They're demanding to speak with our planetary leadership." Lisa nodded and activated the communication system. "Patch them through to Admiral Stone at Earth Defense Command. Make sure she knows we're ready to respond if needed." Dr. Kate Morrison looked up from her science station, where alien energy readings scrolled across multiple screens. "Captain, their technology is definitely advanced, but something seems strange about their scanning attempts. They keep focusing on our outer hull, but they can't seem to penetrate our stealth systems." "Good," Lisa said quietly. "Let them underestimate us for now." Back in space, scientist Vex Hala worked frantically at her research console aboard the Athrani science vessel. The elegant alien woman had spent her entire career studying primitive species, but something about these humans bothered her. Their radio transmissions showed they had only recently developed spaceflight, yet her most sensitive instruments could barely analyze the single massive ship orbiting their planet. "Impossible," she whispered to herself. "No primitive species should possess technology that can block our sensors." Vexhala tried different scanning frequencies, but the human vessel remained largely mysterious. She could detect its enormous size and massive energy generation, but the specific details of its construction escaped her analysis. This had never happened before in her 300 years of research. On the distant Valdari capital world, Empress Zephyra Valthes received the initial reports from the Sol system with mild amusement. The tall, graceful ruler of the empire lounged on her crystal throne, while her advisors presented the usual statistics about another primitive world. Population numbers, technology levels, expected resistance duration, all the standard information she had reviewed thousands of times before. "How long do we estimate this integration will require?" she asked with barely concealed boredom. "Perhaps 6 local days at most, Your Imperial Majesty," replied her military advisor. "High Commander Moonwhisper reports they have only one significant orbital vessel. Our preliminary analysis suggests it poses no threat to our forces." Zephyra waved her hand dismissively. "Proceed with standard protocols. I have more important matters requiring my attention." Admiral Rebecca Stone sat in the war room deep beneath the North American continent and studied the alien fleet through every available sensor. The older woman had spent her entire military career preparing for this exact moment, though she had always hoped it would never come. Earth's defenses consisted of exactly one operational supercarrier and whatever ground-based weapons they could manage. "What's our assessment of their capabilities?" she asked the assembled officers. "Their ships appear to use directed energy weapons and some form of particle shielding," reported her intelligence chief. "Numbers are definitely against us. 200 alien vessels versus our single carrier." Rebecca nodded grimly. Contact Captain Martinez. Tell her we're authorizing full defensive protocols if negotiations fail. The communication between Admiral Stone and the alien commander began with typical diplomatic formalities. High Commander Lyralai appeared on the main screen of Earth's communication center, her ethereal beauty and pointed ears immediately identifying her as non-human. She spoke in perfect English, though her tone carried the arrogance of someone accustomed to easy victories. Greetings, primitive inhabitants of the third planet. I am High Commander Lyralai Moonwhisper of the Valdari Empire. Your world has been selected for integration into our glorious civilization. You will surrender all military assets and submit to our authority within 48 of your local time periods. Admiral Stone maintained her composure despite the shocking demand. High Commander, Earth requires time to consider your proposal. Our people value independence and will need to discuss these terms. Lyralai's expression showed mild surprise at the human's calm response. Most primitive species either attacked immediately or surrendered without question. You have 48 hours. Any resistance after that time will result in the complete pacification of your species. After the transmission ended, Captain Nysa Starweaver approached her commander on the Ithrani flagship. The young officer had noticed several anomalies in their sensor readings that troubled her scientific mind. High Commander, permission to speak freely about the human vessel? Lyralai gestured for her to continue. Our long-range scanners are detecting energy patterns that don't match any known primitive technology. The ship's power output appears far greater than anything a recently spacefaring species should possess. Your concerns are noted, Lyralai replied. But surely you don't suggest that a single vessel could threaten our entire fleet? Nysa hesitated before responding. Perhaps we should conduct more detailed reconnaissance before beginning integration procedures. Meanwhile, aboard the USS Liberty, Maya Patel ran final checks on her fighter squadron. The young pilot had trained for years on the advanced spacecraft housed within the Supercarrier's massive bays. Each fighter contained technology that would revolutionize warfare if anyone understood how it worked. Maya herself barely comprehended the quantum engines and adaptive weapon systems she operated daily. All fighters report ready status, she announced to Captain Martinez. If those aliens want to fight, they're going to get one they'll never forget. Dr. Morrison continued her analysis of the alien fleet while the diplomatic clock ticked down. Her xenobiology background helped her understand that these creatures had likely conquered many worlds using intimidation and superior numbers. What they didn't realize was that humanity's single supercarrier represented technology centuries ahead of anything currently known in the galaxy. As the 48-hour deadline approached, both sides prepared for what seemed inevitable. The Valdari Empire had never encountered serious resistance to their expansion, while Earth had built its entire defense strategy around the hope that superior technology could overcome impossible odds. Neither side fully understood what they were about to face, but everyone sensed that the coming battle would change everything forever. The 48 hours passed with growing tension on both sides. High Commander Lyralai paced the bridge of her flagship as her officers reported that Earth had not responded to their surrender demand. The beautiful Ithrani commander felt a strange unease that she had never experienced in 3 centuries of successful conquests. Still no response from the planetary government? She asked her communication officer. Negative, High Commander. They appear to be maintaining radio silence. Lyralai studied the tactical display showing the single human vessel maintaining its position in Earth's orbit. Something about the ship's complete lack of movement bothered her. Most primitive species either fled in terror or attacked desperately. When faced with overwhelming force, these humans simply waited. Perhaps they don't understand the gravity of their situation, suggested Captain Nysa Starweaver. Their technology appears limited, so they might not comprehend our military superiority. Lyralai nodded, though doubt still gnawed at her mind. Begin the demonstration attack. Select 50 ships and target their orbital installations. Avoid the planet itself for now. We want these creatures alive for integration. Aboard the USS Liberty, Captain Lisa Martinez watched the alien formation split apart as 50 enemy vessels moved toward Earth. Her tactical officers had predicted this exact scenario during their countless training simulations. The aliens would attempt to force surrender through a show of overwhelming power. All stations, this is the captain. Lisa announced over the ship's communication system. "We are now at Condition Red. Prepare for combat operations." Commander Amy Sullivan coordinated the defensive response from her tactical station. The USS Liberty's point defense systems came online with a barely audible hum that vibrated through the massive ship's hull. Energy readings spiked across every console as the supercarrier's true capabilities began to emerge. 50 enemy vessels approaching at attack speed, Amy reported. Range will be optimal in 3 minutes. Dr. Kate Morrison monitored the approaching alien ships from her science station while simultaneously analyzing their energy signatures. Each enemy vessel generated power levels that would have impressed her just days ago. Now she realized that a single one of the Liberty's main reactors produced more energy than the entire attacking force combined. "Captain, I'm detecting weapon charging cycles on all approaching ships," Kate announced. "They're definitely planning to shoot first and ask questions later." Maya Patel sat in the cockpit of her fighter and waited for launch orders. Her squadron remained hidden within the supercarrier's launch bays, ready to deploy at a moment's notice. The young pilot had studied every piece of data about alien vessel design that their sensors had gathered. She felt confident that human fighter technology would surprise these overconfident invaders. "Fighter Command, this is Squadron Leader Patel. All pilots report ready for immediate launch." High Commander Lyralai observed the approaching demonstration attack from her command ship. 50 Valdari warships should easily overwhelm any orbital defenses these primitives might have constructed. The energy weapons carried by each vessel could slice through primitive metals like they were made of paper. "Weapons range in 30 seconds, reported her tactical officer. "Signal the attack group to commence firing as soon as they achieve optimal targeting solutions," Lyralai ordered. Scientist Vexahala monitored the attack from her research vessel, while trying to gather more detailed scans of the mysterious human ship. Her instruments detected massive energy buildups within the alien vessel, but the readings seemed impossible for a species that had only recently achieved spaceflight. "Something is very wrong here," she whispered to herself while reviewing the sensor data. The first alien ships reached firing range and immediately opened fire on the human supercarrier. Bright energy beams lanced through space toward the USS Liberty's hull. The alien weapons packed enough power to level cities, and 50 ships firing simultaneously should have been more than sufficient to destroy any orbital installation. Instead, something incredible happened. The USS Liberty's point defense systems activated with lightning speed that defied comprehension. Thousands of tiny interceptor missiles launched from hidden ports across the supercarrier's hull. Advanced targeting computers calculated intercept courses faster than organic minds could process. Energy shields flickered to life around critical ship sections. Every single alien weapon beam was intercepted before reaching its target. "Impossible," breathed High Commander Lyralai as she watched the tactical display. "No primitive species should possess defensive technology of that sophistication." Captain Lisa Martinez smiled grimly as damage reports came back negative across all ship sections. "Commander Sullivan, you may return fire at your discretion." Amy's fingers flew across her tactical controls as the USS Liberty's main weapons came online. The supercarrier mounted particle beam arrays that operated on principles unknown to current galactic science. Each weapon drew power directly from miniaturized fusion reactors that humanity had developed in secret over the past 50 years. "Firing main batteries," Amy announced. The space around Earth lit up like a newborn star as the USS Liberty unleashed its first offensive salvo. Energy beams thicker than city blocks reached out across space toward the attacking alien vessels. The weapons moved at near light speed, giving the enemy no time to evade or defend. 12 alien warships simply ceased to exist. The Liberty's particle beams punched through their shields and armor like they were made of tissue paper. Secondary explosions rippled through space as alien reactor cores overloaded and detonated. Vexhala stared at her instruments in complete shock. The energy readings from the human weapons systems exceeded anything in Valdari records. These supposedly primitive creatures had just displayed technology that surpassed the Empire's most advanced research projects. "This cannot be happening," she said aloud. The remaining 38 alien ships in the attack group suddenly found themselves facing an opponent far more dangerous than anything they had ever encountered. their formations scattered as captains desperately tried to evade the human weapons that seemed to track their movements with impossible accuracy. Maya Patel received her launch order and rocketed out of the Liberty's fighter bay along with her entire squadron. The human fighters moved with speed and agility that should have been impossible for vehicles of their size. Advanced propulsion systems allowed them to change direction instantly without regard for normal physics limitations. "All fighters, engage enemy vessels at will," Maya commanded over the squadron frequency. The human fighters tore through the alien formation like sharks among minnows. Their weapons might have been smaller than the Liberty's main guns, but they operated on the same advanced principles. Alien ships that had terrorized dozens of worlds found themselves outgunned by single-seat fighters piloted by creatures they had dismissed as primitives. Captain Nisa Starweaver watched in horror as her people's supposedly invincible fleet was systematically destroyed by opponents they had underestimated completely. The young Ethrani officer realized that her entire understanding of galactic power balance had just been shattered. "High Commander, we need to withdraw immediately," she urged. "These humans possess technology far beyond our current capabilities." Lyra Lay struggled to process what she was witnessing. In less than 10 minutes, 50 of her best warships had been reduced to expanding clouds of debris. The single human vessel remained completely undamaged while continuing to pick off fleeing alien ships with casual precision. "Signal full retreat," she ordered reluctantly. All ships returned to the rally point immediately. The surviving alien vessels fled toward the edge of the solar system, while the USS Liberty held its position near Earth. Captain Martinez chose not to pursue the retreating enemies, hoping that a show of restraint might prevent the situation from escalating into total war. Dr. Morrison analyzed the wreckage of destroyed alien ships while their debris drifted past the Liberty's sensors. The alien technology was definitely advanced by galactic standards, but it operated on principles that humanity had surpassed decades ago during their secret development programs. "Captain, preliminary analysis suggests their weapons and defenses are approximately 50 years behind our current capabilities," Kate reported. High Commander Lyralai sat in her command chair and tried to understand how everything had gone so terribly wrong. Her tactical officers provided damage assessments that painted a grim picture of the Empire's first military defeat in recorded history. "Casualty reports indicate 12 ships destroyed and 11 severely damaged," her aide reported. Quietly. "Prepare a priority message to the Empress," Lyralai said finally. "Inform her that the humans possess military technology far beyond our initial assessments. We will require significant reinforcements to complete this integration." As news of the disaster spread through the alien fleet, scientist Vex Hala continued studying the human supercarrier with growing fascination. These creatures had managed to develop technology that surpassed the greatest achievements of the Valdari Empire. She wondered what other surprises these remarkable humans might be hiding. News of the devastating defeat in the Sol system reached the Valdari capital within hours through faster-than-light communication networks. Empress Zephyra Valthes received the reports while holding court in her Crystal Palace, surrounded by advisors from dozens of species that comprised her vast empire. "Repeat that message," she commanded, her violet eyes narrowing with disbelief. The trembling messenger, a young Ethrani courier, read from his official dispatch. "High Commander Moonwhisper reports 12 warships destroyed and 11 damaged. During attempted integration of the human homeworld, enemy resistance exceeded all projected parameters. Immediate reinforcement requested." A shocked silence fell over the imperial court. In over 2,000 years of expansion, the Valdari Empire had never suffered a military defeat. Species either surrendered immediately upon seeing their overwhelming fleet strength, or were quickly conquered through superior technology and tactics. "This is impossible," declared Admiral Kithera, the void-touched, the reptilian Draconi military leader. Her scaled features twisted with anger. "No primitive species possesses the capability to defeat our forces." Empress Zephyra stood from her throne, her graceful movements betraying none of the turmoil in her mind. "Summon the full military council. I want detailed analysis of this situation within the hour." Back in the Sol system, Captain Lisa Martinez walked through the corridors of the USS Liberty while damage control teams repaired minor systems that had been strained during the battle. The supercarrier had performed flawlessly, but she knew that the aliens would return with much larger Forces. Captain, Admiral Stone is requesting a priority communication, announced Lieutenant Commander Sarah Kim from the nearest communication panel. Lisa made her way to the Secure Communications Center, where Admiral Rebecca Stone's image appeared on the main screen. The older woman looked tired but determined as she addressed the Liberty's commanding officer. Outstanding work, Captain. Your crew's performance exceeded every expectation. However, our intelligence suggests this was just a probing attack. What's your assessment of their likely response? They'll be back with everything they have, Lisa replied without hesitation. We surprised them this time, but they won't make the same mistake twice. I estimate we have perhaps 2 weeks before they return with their main battle fleet. Dr. Kate Morrison worked frantically in her laboratory, analyzing samples of alien technology recovered from the destroyed warships. Each piece of equipment revealed new insights into how the Valdari Empire had conquered so many worlds. Their technology was sophisticated but predictable, relying on brute force rather than innovative engineering. Fascinating, she murmured, while examining an alien power coupling. Their energy systems are powerful but incredibly inefficient. No wonder they were so shocked by our weapon output. Maya Patel debriefed her fighter pilots in the Liberty's main hangar bay. The young squadron leader had lost 3 fighters during the engagement, but her pilots had accounted for 8 enemy warships destroyed. The human fighters had proven decisively superior in every category of performance. Their ships are fast, but they can't change direction quickly, she explained to her assembled pilots. Their weapons are powerful at long range, but we can get inside their firing solutions and stay there. Most importantly, their targeting systems can't track our evasive maneuvers. Captain Nisa Starweaver requested a private meeting with High Commander Lyra Lai aboard the retreating Ithrani flagship. The young officer had spent the past several hours reviewing sensor data from the battle, and her conclusions troubled her deeply. High Commander, I believe we seriously underestimated these humans, she began carefully. Their technology appears to be based on principles we don't understand. Lyra Lai studied the tactical reports spread across her desk. 50 ships reduced to debris by a single enemy vessel. The mathematics were undeniable, but they challenged everything she thought she knew about warfare. What do you recommend, Captain? She asked. We should attempt communication before the main fleet arrives. These humans showed restraint by not pursuing our retreating forces. Perhaps they can be reasoned with. Scientist Vex Hala worked alone, in her laboratory, analyzing every scrap of data about the human supercarrier that her instruments had managed to gather. The elegant Ithrani researcher had dedicated her career to studying primitive species, but these humans defied every category of technological development she understood. Their ship appears to be larger than our estimates indicated, she noted in her research log. Energy readings suggest manufacturing capabilities that exceed our most advanced shipyards. How is this possible for a species that achieved spaceflight only recently? She pulled up comparative data from hundreds of other species the Empire had encountered. None had possessed technology remotely comparable to what the humans had displayed. Most concerning of all, the human vessel appeared to be improving its systems even during the brief engagement. Empress Zephyra convened her emergency military council in the war room deep beneath her palace. Representatives from every major species in the Empire attended either in person or through holographic projection. The mood was grim as Admiral Kithara presented her analysis. Based on combat telemetry, the human vessel possesses weapons technology approximately 100 years ahead of our current capabilities. Their defensive systems appear even more advanced. I recommend deploying our entire sector fleet. 2,000 ships should be sufficient to overcome their technological advantage through sheer numbers. 2,000 ships, questioned General Thyrus of the insectoid Zephyri. That represents nearly half our total military strength. Is that truly necessary? The alternative is accepting our first military defeat in recorded history, Kithara replied bluntly. Zephyra considered the implications carefully. Deploying such a massive force would leave other sectors vulnerable, but allowing this defeat to stand would encourage rebellion throughout the Empire. Authorize the sector fleet deployment, she decided, but I want diplomatic contact attempted first. Perhaps these humans can be convinced to join the Empire voluntarily. On Earth, Admiral Stone coordinated defensive preparations from her underground command center. Earth's industrial facilities worked around the clock to produce additional weapons and fighters for the USS Liberty. The planet's entire population had been informed of the situation, and support poured in from every nation. "How many additional fighters can we manufacture in 2 weeks?" she asked her logistics coordinator. "Perhaps 50, if we push every facility to maximum capacity. The limitation is our supply of exotic materials needed for the quantum engines. Dr. Morrison had a potential solution for the material shortage. Her analysis of alien technology revealed that their ships contained several elements that could be adapted for human use. The destroyed warships floating in Earth's orbit represented a treasure trove of advanced materials. "Captain Martinez, I'm recommending immediate salvage operations on the alien wrecks," she reported during their daily briefing. "Their power systems use crystalline matrices that we can modify for our purposes." Maya Patel volunteered to lead the salvage missions, taking her fighters on dangerous recovery runs through the debris fields. Each alien ship contained technology that could improve human systems, but the work was hazardous due to unstable reactors and unexploded weapons. "Be careful out there," Lisa warned her pilots. "Those wrecks might be booby-trapped or contaminated." Captain Nissa Starweaver received permission to attempt direct communication with the human vessel. She hoped that her people's reputation for diplomatic skill might succeed where military force had failed. The young Ithrani officer prepared a message that emphasized mutual respect and the possibility of peaceful coexistence. USS Liberty, this is Captain Nissa Starweaver of the Valdari Empire. I request permission to establish diplomatic contact regarding our current situation. The response came from Commander Amy Sullivan, who had been designated as the Liberty's diplomatic liaison. "Captain Starweaver, we are willing to discuss terms for the withdrawal of your forces from our system." The exchange marked the first real attempt at communication between the two sides since the initial surrender demand. Both officers approached the negotiations carefully, knowing that the wrong words could trigger a much larger conflict. As diplomatic talks began, both sides prepared for the possibility that negotiations might fail. The Valdari Empire assembled the largest battle fleet in its history, while Earth worked desperately to improve its single supercarrier. The next encounter would determine whether humanity remained free or joined the countless other species under imperial rule. Vexhala continued her research with growing admiration for human ingenuity. These remarkable creatures had achieved in decades what most species required centuries to accomplish. She began to wonder if the Empire's expansion policies were truly justified when such impressive civilizations existed among the stars. 2 weeks after the first battle, space around Earth erupted in brilliant flashes of light as the Valdari Empire's massive sector fleet emerged from hyperspace. 2,000 warships arranged themselves in attack formations that stretched across multiple star systems. Never before in galactic history had such an enormous force been assembled for a single engagement. Admiral Cathara commanded the fleet from her massive dreadnought, a ship larger than most space stations. The reptilian commander studied tactical displays showing the single human vessel still maintaining its position in Earth orbit. She found it difficult to believe that one ship, no matter how advanced, could threaten her overwhelming force. "All fleet commanders, this is Admiral Cathara," she announced over the communication network. "We will demonstrate the true power of the Valdari Empire today. No single vessel can stand against the combined might of 2,000 warships." Captain Lisa Martinez stood on the bridge of the USS Liberty and watched the alien fleet deployment with calm determination. Her ship had spent the past 2 weeks preparing for this exact moment. Manufacturing facilities deep within the supercarrier's hull had been working constantly to produce new weapons, fighters, and defensive systems. "Captain, I'm reading energy signatures from over 2,000 enemy vessels," reported Commander Amy Sullivan from her tactical station. "This is definitely their main battle fleet." "Are our preparations complete?" Lisa asked. Dr. Kate Morrison looked up from her science console, where streams of data flowed across multiple screens. "All systems are operating at peak efficiency. The modifications we made using salvaged alien materials have increased our power output by 30%. Maya Patel sat in her fighter cockpit within one of the Liberty's launch bays, surrounded by twice as many pilots as she had commanded during the first battle. The salvage operations had provided enough exotic materials to build additional fighters, each one incorporating improvements learned from studying alien technology. "All squadrons report ready for launch," she announced to Captain Martinez. "We're eager to show these aliens what happens when they threaten our home. High Commander Lyrelai observed the massive fleet deployment from her position as Cathara's second-in-command. The graceful Ethrani officer still harbored doubts about the wisdom of this attack, but she had been overruled by the Empire's leadership. 2 weeks of diplomatic negotiations with Captain Starweaver had failed to produce any agreement. "Begin the attack," Admiral Cathara commanded. "All ships, advance to optimal firing range." The alien fleet moved forward like an unstoppable wave of destruction. Each warship bristled with weapons capable of destroying cities. Their combined firepower could have glassed entire continents within minutes. The mathematical superiority seemed overwhelming. 2,000 ships against one. Captain Nissa Starweaver watched the attack begin from her position aboard Lyrelai's flagship. The young diplomat had tried desperately to find a peaceful solution, but the Empire's leadership demanded total victory. She wondered if her people were making a terrible mistake. "High Commander, are you certain this is wise?" she asked quietly. "The humans showed remarkable restraint during our previous engagement. Perhaps we should reconsider." "The decision has been made," Lyrelai replied, though uncertainty flickered in her violet eyes. As the alien fleet approached firing range, something unexpected happened aboard the USS Liberty. The supercarrier's hull began to shift and reconfigure itself in ways that defied conventional engineering. Hidden compartments opened to reveal manufacturing facilities that had been building new warships during the past 2 weeks. "What in the void?" Admiral Cathara exclaimed as her sensors detected the human ship's transformation. The USS Liberty wasn't just a supercarrier, it was a mobile shipyard and factory capable of producing entire fleets. During the 2 weeks since the first battle, it had constructed 50 smaller vessels, each one incorporating the most advanced human technology available. Captain Martinez smiled as her expanded fleet took defensive positions around Earth. "Commander Sullivan, you may begin fleet operations." The newly constructed human ships moved with coordination that seemed impossible for vessels that had been completed only hours earlier. Each ship shared tactical data through quantum communication networks that operated faster than the alien fleet could react. The human formation shifted like a living organism responding to threats. Scientist Vexhala stared at her instruments, in amazement as the human fleet multiplied before her eyes. "Impossible," she whispered. "No species should possess manufacturing technology of this sophistication." She realized that the humans had been using the 2-week delay to prepare the most elaborate surprise in military history. While the Empire assembled its largest fleet, the humans had been building their own navy from scratch. The battle began when the leading edge of the alien fleet came within weapons range. Admiral Cathara ordered a massive coordinated strike that should have overwhelmed any possible defense. 2,000 ships fired simultaneously, creating an energy barrage that lit up space like a miniature star. Every single shot was intercepted by the human defensive grid. The 50 new ships worked in perfect coordination with the USS Liberty to create an impenetrable shield of interceptor fire. Advanced targeting computers calculated intercept courses faster than organic minds could. "Comprehend. Return fire," Captain Martinez ordered calmly. The human counterattack exceeded even the most optimistic projections of their capabilities. The USS Liberty's main weapons had been upgraded with salvaged alien materials, increasing their power, output beyond anything the Empire had encountered. The 50 escort vessels added their own firepower to create a concentrated barrage that punched through alien formations like they were made of paper. Dozens of alien warships exploded in the first exchange. The Empire's most advanced shields crumpled under the impact of human weapons that operated on principles unknown to galactic science. Secondary explosions rippled through the alien formations as damaged ships collided with their neighbors. Maya Patel led her expanded fighter squadrons into the heart of the alien fleet. The human fighters moved like schools of fish, changing direction instantly without regard for normal physics limitations. Their weapons might have been smaller than capital ship guns, but they operated with precision that allowed them to target. "Critical ship systems! All fighters, focus on their command vessels," Maya ordered over the squadron frequency. "Take out their coordination, and the rest will fall apart." Admiral Cathara watched in horror as her supposedly invincible fleet was systematically destroyed by opponents she had dismissed as primitives. The human fighters moved too fast for her weapons to track, while their larger ships demonstrated firepower that exceeded her dreadnought's capabilities. "This cannot be happening," she snarled while damage reports flooded her command center. "We have 2,000 ships." "Admiral, we've lost over 300 vessels in the first 10 minutes, reported her tactical officer. "Enemy resistance is far beyond our projected parameters." High Commander Lyralai realized that her worst fears were being confirmed. The humans possessed technology so advanced that numerical superiority meant nothing. Her people's centuries of easy victories had made them overconfident and unprepared for real opposition. "Signal a general retreat," she urged Admiral Kythera. "We cannot win this engagement." "Retreat?" Kythera roared. "The Valdari Empire does not retreat." But the mathematics of the battle were undeniable. Despite overwhelming numerical superiority, the alien fleet was being systematically destroyed by human technology that seemed almost magical in its capabilities. Ships that had conquered hundreds of worlds found themselves outgunned by vessels that had been constructed in the past 2 weeks. Captain Starweaver watched the disaster unfold with growing certainty that her people had made a catastrophic error. The humans weren't the primitives that Imperial intelligence had described. They were potentially the most advanced species the galaxy had ever seen. Dr. Morrison coordinated the human fleet's tactical systems from her position aboard the USS Liberty. The quantum communication networks allowed all 50 ships to function as a single organism, sharing sensor data and coordinating attacks with precision that the aliens couldn't match. "Captain, the alien fleet is beginning to fragment," she reported. "Their command structure appears to be breaking down under the pressure." As the battle continued, it became clear that the human fleet possessed one more devastating advantage. The USS Liberty wasn't just manufacturing ships, it was continuing to build new vessels even during combat. Advanced automated systems churned out fighters and escort craft faster than the aliens could destroy them. Vexahala watched the impossible spectacle with growing fascination. These humans had achieved technological capabilities that surpassed every empire in known space. She wondered what other innovations they might reveal if given the chance. The tide of battle turned decisively when Maya Patel's fighters penetrated the alien fleet's core and began targeting command vessels. The human pilots moved with coordination. That seemed telepathic, striking precisely at the most critical moments to maximize damage to enemy formations. Admiral Kythera's dreadnought shuddered under repeated fighter attacks while her escort ships exploded around her. The proud reptilian commander finally accepted what her subordinates had been telling her. This battle was lost. "Signal, General. Retreat," she ordered reluctantly. "All ships withdraw to the rally point immediately." The surviving alien vessels fled toward the edge of the solar system, while the human fleet maintained its defensive positions. Captain Martinez once again chose not to pursue, hoping that mercy might lead to a more permanent peace. As news of the second devastating defeat spread through the alien fleet, the balance of galactic power shifted forever. The Valdari Empire's reputation for invincibility lay in ruins along with half their sector fleet. The aftermath of the second battle sent shockwaves throughout the Valdari Empire that reached every corner of known space. Empress Zephyra Valthes sat in her crystal throne room, staring at casualty reports that defied comprehension. 1,000 ships destroyed, 300 severely damaged, and countless crew members lost in what should have been a routine conquest. "Your Imperial Majesty," spoke Admiral Kythera, her reptilian features marked with shame. "I take full responsibility for this disaster. The humans possess technology far beyond our understanding." Zephyra's violet eyes remained fixed on the tactical reports spread before her. Never in 2,000 years of Imperial expansion had any species inflicted such devastating losses on their forces. The mathematical impossibility of the situation challenged everything she believed about galactic civilization. "Summon High Commander Moonwhisper immediately," she commanded. "I will travel to this Sol system personally and attempt to understand these remarkable humans." Captain Lisa Martinez stood in the observation deck of the USS Liberty, watching salvage crews recover useful materials from the latest batch of alien wrecks. The debris field around Earth now contained the remains of over 1,300 enemy warships, representing the largest military defeat in recorded galactic history. "Captain, Admiral Stone is requesting a priority communication," announced. "Commander Amy Sullivan, Admiral Rebecca Stone's image appeared on the main screen, her expression mixing relief with concern. Outstanding work again, Captain. However, our intelligence suggests that this defeat has gotten the personal attention of their Empress. We may be dealing with diplomatic contact at the highest levels. Are we prepared for that? Lisa asked. As prepared as anyone can be for first contact with an interstellar empire, Rebecca replied. Your restraint in not pursuing their retreating forces may have saved us from a much larger conflict. Dr. Kate Morrison worked in her expanded laboratory, now assisted by teams of scientists from around the world who had been transported to the Liberty. The alien technology recovered from the battle wreckage revealed fascinating insights into how the Valdari Empire had conquered so many worlds. Their approach relies on overwhelming force and intimidation, she explained to her research team. They've never had to develop truly innovative technology because numerical superiority always worked before. Maya Patel trained new pilots in the Liberty's flight simulators, preparing them to operate the advanced fighters that the ship's manufacturing systems continued to produce. Word of her squadron's performance had spread throughout Earth's military, and volunteers arrived daily requesting assignment to the Supercarrier. Remember, their ships are powerful but predictable, she instructed her students. They rely on formations and tactics that haven't changed in centuries. Our advantage comes from adaptability and superior technology. Captain Nissa Starweaver found herself in an unprecedented position within the Valdari command structure. As one of the few officers who had advocated for diplomatic solutions, she was selected to accompany Empress Zephyra on the journey to Earth. The young Ethrani diplomat felt the weight of potentially preventing a war that could destroy both civilizations. Your Imperial Majesty, she said carefully, these humans have demonstrated both overwhelming military capability and remarkable restraint. Perhaps we should approach them as equals rather than subjects for conquest. Zephyra considered this radical suggestion. The concept of treating another species as equals challenged fundamental assumptions about imperial superiority, but the alternative was continued military disasters. Prepare diplomatic protocols appropriate for contact with an advanced civilization, she decided. Scientist Vexhala accompanied the Imperial delegation, hoping to study human technology with their permission rather than through battlefield analysis. Her research had revealed innovations that could benefit the entire galaxy if shared peacefully. The elegant Ethrani researcher drafted proposals for scientific collaboration that might interest the humans. Your Imperial Majesty, these humans appear to value knowledge and innovation above conquest, she reported. Perhaps we can offer them something they want in exchange for ending hostilities. The Imperial delegation's ship approached the Sol system under a flag of truce, broadcasting peaceful intentions on all frequencies. Captain Martinez authorized their approach while maintaining defensive readiness in case the diplomatic mission proved to be a deception. Incoming transmission from the alien delegation, announced Amy Sullivan. They're requesting permission to approach for diplomatic negotiations. Grant them safe passage, Lisa replied. But keep all weapons systems ready. Empress Zephyra's elegant diplomatic vessel docked with the USS Liberty under unprecedented circumstances. Never before had an imperial ruler personally visited a species that had defeated their forces. The docking bay had been prepared to accommodate alien physiology and atmospheric requirements. Captain Martinez met the Imperial delegation in the Liberty's main conference room, accompanied by Dr. Morrison and Commander Sullivan. The sight of Empress Zephyra's ethereal beauty and Captain Starweaver's graceful features reminded them that they were dealing with highly advanced beings despite their military victories. Empress Zephyra, welcome aboard the USS Liberty, Lisa said formally. I am Captain Martinez, commanding this vessel. Captain Martinez, Zephyra replied, her voice carrying centuries of authority. I come seeking to understand how your remarkable species has achieved such technological advancement. Our previous encounters suggest that conflict serves neither of our peoples. Dr. Morrison presented a carefully prepared overview of human technological development, emphasizing their rapid progress through innovation and collaboration. She avoided revealing the most sensitive details while demonstrating enough capability to discourage future attacks. Your industrial capacity exceeds our most optimistic projections, Vexhala observed with genuine admiration. How did you achieve such rapid advancement? Necessity and cooperation, Kate replied. When we realized that hostile contact was possible, Our entire species worked together to develop defenses. Captain Starweaver proposed the framework for a comprehensive peace agreement that would establish formal diplomatic relations between Earth and the Valdari Empire. The terms included mutual non-aggression pacts, technology sharing agreements, and protocols for resolving future disputes. Your people have demonstrated both military strength and diplomatic wisdom, she told Captain Martinez. Perhaps we can build something better than the Empire's traditional conquest model. The negotiations continued for several days as both sides worked to establish trust and mutual understanding. Empress Zephyra found herself genuinely impressed by human achievements and began to question whether the Empire's expansion policies required fundamental changes. "You offer us partnership where we expected submission," she observed during one private conversation with Lisa. "This is not how Imperial encounters typically proceed." "Maybe it's time for a new approach," Lisa suggested. "The galaxy is large enough for multiple civilizations to prosper." Admiral Rebecca Stone participated in the talks through secure communication links, representing Earth's planetary government. The agreements being negotiated would establish humanity's position within galactic civilization while preserving their independence and security. "What guarantees can you provide that the Empire won't simply return with larger forces?" she asked pointedly. "Our military defeats have been educational," Zephyra admitted reluctantly. "Further conflict would likely result in even greater losses for our forces." Maya Patel gave the Imperial delegation a demonstration of human fighter capabilities, showcasing the advanced technology that had proven so effective against alien warships. The visitors watched in amazement as human pilots performed maneuvers that should have been physically impossible. "Remarkable," breathed Vexhala. "Your aerospace technology operates on principles we don't understand." The final agreement established the Terran-Valdari Accord, creating formal diplomatic relations between Earth and the Empire. Humanity would remain independent while gaining access to galactic trade networks and scientific databases. In exchange, Earth would share selected technologies and serve as a neutral mediator for Imperial disputes. "This accord represents a new era in galactic civilization," announced Empress Zephyra during the signing ceremony. "Perhaps conquest is not the only path to progress." Captain Starweaver accepted appointment as the first Valdari ambassador to Earth, while Dr. Morrison was designated as humanity's chief scientific liaison. The two women would work together to establish ongoing cooperation between their peoples. 6 months later, the USS Liberty served as flagship for a joint human-alien fleet patrolling the Outer Rim territories. Captain Martinez commanded combined forces that included volunteers from dozens of species seeking to escape Imperial rule and join the new Confederation. "Status report," she requested from Commander Sullivan. "All sectors report peaceful conditions. The new alliance appears to be holding." Maya Patel led mixed squadrons of human and alien pilots, training them to operate advanced fighters built with combined technology. The integration proceeded smoothly as former enemies learned to work together toward common goals. Dr. Morrison and scientist Vexhala collaborated on research projects that pushed the boundaries of known science. Their joint innovations promised advances that neither species could have achieved alone. "The quantum manufacturing techniques show incredible promise," Vexhala reported during their weekly progress meeting. "Combined with our materials science, we could revolutionize industrial capacity throughout the galaxy." Empress Zephyra reformed the Imperial government to emphasize cooperation over conquest. The Valdari Empire evolved into the Galactic Confederation, with Earth serving as a founding member and technological leader. Admiral Stone oversaw the construction of additional supercarriers using combined human-alien technology. Earth's defense forces grew into a galactic peacekeeping organization that protected dozens of worlds from remaining threats. The transformation of galactic civilization continued as news of the Accord spread to distant systems. Species that had been conquered by the Empire began demanding similar arrangements, leading to a wave of liberation movements that reshaped the political landscape. Captain Lisa Martinez stood on the bridge of the USS Liberty and watched the first joint human-alien colony ship depart for a distant star system. The vessel carried volunteers from multiple species seeking to build a new type of civilization based on cooperation rather than domination. "Course laid in for the frontier sectors," reported the navigation officer. "Take us out," Lisa commanded. knowing that their journey into an uncertain but hopeful future was just beginning.